Réaction. R2, qui sont joints.
Ah, c'est ça qu'on veut. Ralenti. Allez, fais péter le truc.
24 cameras, 2 Steadicam, 1 jeep, 1 drone, a massive broadcast truck, and almost 100 technicians. This is just a fraction of what it takes to broadcast a live football championship. And you know what? This event is actually so special that you won't get to see it on NBC, BBC, or any other TV channel. It has been crafted with only one platform in mind: Twitch. Do you know what happens when YouTubers and streamers have control over such a show? Very funny things, unusual things.
I was scolded by ref after 5 minutes saying, "Your cameraman not allowed."
We will try to cover the match a little differently. These are angles that are not usually seen.
There are two worlds that come together, the digital world and the world of television.
It's something we get a rush from.
It's a risky bet. It's an interesting bet.
We know some things, we should never be sure about what we know.
The purpose of the 11 All-Stars was our limit.
We are constantly focused on precision, perfection. Always you learn.
We are asked to be able to go on the field while it is playing or during stoppages.
First meetings, they scared me a bit.
We risk exploding a score that is truly amazing.
It is a somewhat new client, it is somewhat new project.
If tomorrow I want to make a Fire Crash Dragon, we will have a Fire Crash Dragon.
If there's a problem, we must solve it.
Then today I am going to allow myself excess. On va battre beaucoup de records. Bah oui, moi je veux 2 millions.
All the cameramen boarded the bus and exclaimed, "Wow, we have just experienced something." We had a unique experience.
This championship between French and Spanish YouTubers is hosted by a French streamer, Amine, who literally booked this stadium in Paris, gathering 20,000 fans on location and millions more online watching the live stream at home.
Pour ceux qui savent, for those who know, for those who've known me for a while, I've started. I was in front of small cams managing buddies for old werewolves in front of PC. My first streams. Today I'm in front of 20,000 plus. Vous êtes...
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the technical backstage of a full-scale football broadcast, or soccer, depending on where you come from. We're going to see what happens on the field all the way to the broadcast truck. Let's get into it. We are here in front of the warehouse of the broadcast company. This is where they store all of the equipment, the broadcast truck, and it is also where they have their main office. So now let's get inside. So this is where all of the project begins. The salespeople from the broadcast company talk to the YouTubers and discuss event details such as the equipment required for the show, the number of cameras, the number of technicians, the cost, and all of this goes through one man who is the sales manager.
We have a presence at the Euros, the World Cups and the Olympics. We are present at these prestigious international sporting events.
How does it feel to go from customers like the World Cup, Olympic Games to working with YouTubers?
We bring the solutions and they decide very, very quickly. And that's the actual difference. What they come to us for is notably the aspect of security. That is to say that we, because of our activity and our clients, do not have the right to make mistakes. You can't cut a beam, the operation must take place without any antenna impact. It's true when broadcasting a FIFA match or when broadcasting a July 14th celebration for TF1, a flawless performance is expected and demanded. That there be no interruption, that there be no lag, all the small issues we could have when filming with an iPhone or when filming with a semi-broadcast camera.
The very purpose of the 11 All-Stars was our limits. If 15 cameramen were to enter the field, we could have brought in 15 cameramen onto the field for the sake of the broadcast and for the sake of the people on the internet. The core purpose of the 11 All-Stars was to place non-professional players who may not be inherently at ease with football within the realm of professional standards, and as a result, ensure professional broadcasting.
Once both parties have reached an agreement and the quotation is signed, it's time to move on to the next part, which is hiring the crew, booking the gear and preparing the equipment. speaking of the equipment, there is a bit more going on than just a few DSLRs or laptops. Actually, this is the kind of truck where all the supervising, directing and live switching of the show takes place. These trucks are more commonly known as outside broadcast trucks or OB truck. So in the stadium or the venue, all the cameras will be connected to that central truck using fiber optic cables. Now, have you ever wondered what's actually inside one of these trucks? This is really where everything is happening in the live broadcast. So let's take a look inside now. Here inside the truck, there is this massive wall of monitors and LCDs showing all of the cameras. The team has access to pretty much everything from there, and I will come back to that later in the video. Now, it is just a couple of days before the event and the technical team is preparing and configuring the OB truck for the show. We are now with Antoine, who is one of the technicians inside the truck preparing the live stream. And so what are you preparing today?
I'm an equipment assistant, so I'll take care of everything the equipment manager won't have time for, especially replay and recording. To set up machines for operators to enable slow motion replays during the match and configure all the necessary settings. They will have access to all the cameras and they will be able to go back in time and relive moments by gauging reading speed. Axel, who is the project manager for this event, will ensure that we have everything planned in terms of equipment for the shoot we are going to do, try to think of every little thing, especially how we will have internet in the truck, because there, as we are streaming, the big challenge will be internet broadcasting. Jeremy, who is the equipment manager, will ensure that there is the right number of cameras, especially how the cameras are wired. He will set up the truck properly so that we can have a good foundation for tomorrow.
Since the main truck is crammed with loads of video switching equipment and furniture, there is always at least one tender vehicle, the equipment truck. And as the name suggests, the equipment truck carries all of the equipment that is required for the show. And that includes cameras, tripods, lenses, cables, microphone, and so many more critical things. Now that the truck is ready, time to go to bed, because tomorrow is going to be a very big day. The day before the championship, both the broadcast truck and the equipment truck arrive on site at 9 AM. And the first challenge is to park the big trucks in a very tight space. And this was not an easy task, since the drivers have to adjust the steering with centimeter precision to put both trucks side by side and allow enough clearance on both sides to extend the folding compartments. Once the truck is settled, it will not move anywhere, so they have to make sure they get this right. As soon as the parking brakes are set, the first action is to bring electrical power so that the crew can start extending the two compartments of the broadcast truck. Then the technicians set up all the stairs with the security barriers, which will then allow the team to go inside. From there they can start powering the machines and boot up the whole system, and then further pursue equipment configuration.
Electricity, you have to be careful to distribute it evenly on each machine, not to put power strips on power strips. The major novelty is the support. We're on web broadcasts live. There's this entire part that needs to be adapted at the truck exit with the distribution of the different flows. For France and the Spanish side.
So now the technical team starts unloading the equipment and move all the camera, gear and audio equipment into the stadium. And as all the equipment is being dispatched by one team, another team starts to pull all the cables from the broadcast trucks to the various camera positions in the stadium. Now trust me, these aren't short cables. In fact, consumer HDMI cables can officially run from 5 to 10 meters. Here, the stadium is more than 100 meters wide, so we are talking about much longer cables. We need a better solution: optical fiber. Optical fiber cables have several advantages. They can run over long distances, are very lightweight, and are completely insensitive to electromagnetic and radio interference. That is because the signal is transmitted through pulses of light in glass threads, which means they are ideal to carry critical video and audio data in that kind of environment. Given the number of cameras, it is super important to be careful and meticulous when naming all the fibers at the back of the truck during setup, in order to accelerate troubleshooting in the unlikely event of an emergency. Now let's move to the other end of the cables, cameras. There is a total of 24 cameras being set up in various locations in the stadium. There are a couple of cameras down on the pitch close to the ground.
Et Sacha justement qui va toucher son premier ballon, qui essaye de lancer directement dans la profondeur Abid, mais c'est bien couvert de la part de Boston.
Among these cameras are higher frame rate cameras that are used for the slow motion shots. The wider shots are filmed with cameras that are in the audience at the top of the stadium. They are also setting up a jib behind one of the nets to film highly dynamic shots. This is definitely not a lightweight setup. The jib operator has a remote system to operate the camera head with his thumb, and the large number of weights ensure the whole stability of the crane. There are also remote-controlled cameras in some locations, which are called pan-tilt zoom or PTZ cameras. These cameras can be operated remotely from the broadcast trucks using their built-in motors. Finally, there are two wireless cameras on Steadicams which will play a key role in this championship.
Place au match! Et c'est parti pour la seconde période de France Espagne!
Oh, and I forgot the drum. If you are interested in knowing more about broadcast cameras and why they are so big and massive, even today, you can check out a video I made on the subject. I had rented a camera and lens setup of this size to show you what these monsters have in their belly and what they can do. Now, we've seen loads of cameras, but there could not be any kind of broadcast without this less visible aspect. Sound.
Someone who goes to a stadium will want to listen to the supporters, potentially listen to the sound of the ball, the referee, the players, the coaches, and also all the journalists who are around the event and who cover it. Our primary responsibility is to mix all of this so that you, the viewer of the television, can have the sensation of being a little bit in the stadium. That's a bit our job.
The sound supervisor of the show receives multiple audio sources from his team, and it's not only the sound from the sports commentators' headsets, announcers, or the journalist's handheld microphone. It's also the crowd noise and sounds that are picked up by dozens of microphones across the pitch. They have all sorts of microphones: shotgun mix, semi-shotgun microphones, parabolic, and even tiny lavalier microphone hidden inside the goalposts. All of these audio sources are hardwired, sent through optical fiber, and end up inside this massive mixing board in the truck. Actually, there is a dedicated 10-person team just for the sound, and these guys are also in charge of the internal communication system for all the crew working on this project. Who can talk to who, volume adjustments so that everyone in the team can hear the others loud and clear, and so much more. During the setup stage, all the microphones are wired and tested by the audio team. As soon as the camera feeds start showing up in the broadcast truck, they also make sure the audio and video are in sync with every camera and microphone. Now, as the sun starts to dip below the horizon, the majority of the crew finishes their work for the day, and the technicians head home to rest before the big event, leaving only a handful of technicians in the broadcast truck with one crucial task: solve any problems that may arise.
Ça s'en rapproche. Pas loin quoi. Ah, on a des tests de duplex à faire. Micro de rugby, je t'entends bien comment.
Ok, super. This day has been very long, very particular in installation. It's this little adrenaline, this little pressure that is exhilarating.
A deadline in an hour, we absolutely have to be ready.
We don't have a choice. We are asked for something. We are told it must work now. We must make sure it works.
We do everything to avoid stress. In novelty, there's always stress.
I was quite impressed with what it takes to set up and get everything running smoothly. If these guys weren't working late to solve as many issues as possible before the big day, the broadcast simply could not happen at all. Today's the day. Most of the equipment has already been set up inside the stadium, and now it's crucial to rehearse what's known as the pre-show. Just like the World Cup, the pre-show is all the entertainment that happens before the game begins. Tonight there will be a lot happening in a short amount of time, from the pre-roll videos that warm up the audience to the welcome music, the introductory words from the host YouTubers, the bangers, the concerts, all the way to the entry of the players and the kickoff. Add in the fact that all the players from the two teams, Spain and France, are YouTubers and not professional players, and yes, you end up with something quite tricky.
The uniqueness of this Twitch live stream is that we combine teams of YouTubers, streamers and television teams. We also combine the event side, the concert side, as well as the show with a football match.
Parce qu'en gros, moi, si tu veux, j'ai un démontage de scène qui prend 20 minutes. On va commencer à démonter la scène derrière. Pour pas que je sois battu et que j'ai 30 minutes de vide. Ouais. Parce que 30 minutes à meubler avant, en transition du concert sur l'entrée joueur, j'ai Manu sur hors de question. C'est trop long et lui est d'accord, tu vois, c'est trop long.
In order to keep the audience engaged as much as possible, the live producer has requested that packing up the stage between the pre-show and the football game should last under 10 minutes. Moving a whole stage with so much equipment in such a short amount of time without it being visible on camera isn't an easy task. It requires proper communication and good coordination between the director, the assistant director, the live producer, and the Steadicam operator who will keep a tight shot of the singer throughout the transition. The key to achieving this maneuver is good preparation and rehearsal, which they did.
Ouais, et comme ça on tire la focale, déjà ça sera plus beau. Et moi de toute façon, moi je te le panote à 5-6 mètres du projo. Tu sais, je te ferai un panneau comme ça. Moi.
The Steadicam is a device referred to as a camera stabilization machine used in filmmaking. It enables you to move with the camera while walking, running, going upstairs, going downstairs. You walk with the camera on your shoulder, the camera tends to move vertically. With a Steadicam, your body can have certain movements that the camera does not want. If you go down the stairs, you'll tend to bounce with your body naturally. But the camera will have a very linear, stable, calm downward movement. I can move slowly, I can move fixedly, I can move commonly, I can move circularly, I can ascend instantly, I can use all possible and imaginable axes. Tonight we'll have fun. We'll try to cover the match uniquely, as it's not an official match. These are not exceptional players who are going to sprint and possess a tremendous top speed that is off the charts, where I could be a threat on their trajectory and stake, especially in the match. There, it's a pleasure game. If there's joy and teasing on the field, we'll try to find these moments of presence with this machine.
But this wasn't the only uncommon thing that I saw. Since this whole event is being hosted by the gaming community, the live producer wants a very specific directing style. He wants to try something completely new.
The target audience is young people who use social media, who are accustomed to highly edited images, and who also play FIFA. So, we will have to cut more in order to provide more immersion and more gaming shots than usual. Today, I'll allow myself a lot of excesses.
Ah oui. Bah ouais, et ça gêne qui? Allez, recule. À deux, je t'ai vu.
Being a director is like being a conductor. I have a team with cameramen who today amount to 15 or 20. Each individual knows what they have to do because each individual here is truly significant. All is defined beforehand like a partition, and afterwards I try to put all of that into rhythm to come up with a TV watchable product.
Siffle-moi le penalty. Siffle-moi le penalty. Coup franc. Vas-y Karim, vas-y. Allez, vas-y, tourne-moi. Ah merde, s'il est blessé, c'est con, mais on aura des belles images.
There are many similarities with a football coach role, for example. We have a team of many people because there are people who are cameramen, sound recordists, but there are all the people who are around us, the people who have prepared everything Scar, who have installed all the cameras and all that. We all have to work at the same time, at the same moment, to achieve a perfect TV product. Our game, that's the one.
Now, you might wonder, why are there so many people inside that truck? Well, there are so many things going on in such a short amount of time and at a very fast pace that it would be extremely hard for a single technician to run the show, even with a strong experience. During the show, the director is the one who leads the execution and ultimately decides which shot goes on air at a given time. He selects the camera that he wants to send to the live broadcast using the buttons at his fingertips, and also directs the whole crew and communicates back and forth with the camera operators, the live producer, and the other technicians. To his right, a technician assists him, preparing complex layouts and ensuring he avoids any accidental moves. Right next to the director sits the live producer. He serves as the ultimate authority of the entire show. It's the actual boss in charge of running the whole production.
On va avoir un bord terrain avec Billy, hein. T'as bien ton bon micro, toi, Dolby?
He issues the instructions and gives the green lights to both the lighting and audio crew inside the stadium, but also the crew inside the broadcast truck, following a conductor with very precise timings. The graphics operators and bug operators are responsible for creating and adding all the titles, scores, bugs, lower thirds and animated graphics that you see on the screen. There are numerous operators on the replay decks who work in coordination with the director to replay crucial action footage that was captured seconds ago. They are called LSM operators and select the best shots, the best angles, and can play back the videos either at normal speed or in slow motion. The replay supervisor is responsible for configuring all the units and ensuring that the replays run without any glitches. At the far end of the truck are vision engineers, also called camera shader technicians, who color correct all the camera feeds in real time and make sure all of the camera angles match in terms of brightness, color, sharpness, and so much more. They can also give a specific look to the picture when required. On the opposite side of the truck, inside the soundproof cabin, you can find the sound supervisor who mixes the audio for the live broadcasts, coming from many sources. The audio assistant will offload him as much as possible and will also handle all the communication audio between the team, whether they be in the stadium or in the truck. Having such a massive team also means relying on a ton of gear. The engineer in charge knows the truck by heart with all its hidden secrets and quirks. He knows exactly what is possible and not possible and can fix and maintain any piece of equipment. The tech manager is in charge of coordinating the whole technical team and will handle all the technical aspects of the shoots. Behind the director is the production manager, along with the production assistants, the assistant producers, and of course the truck driver. Now, earlier in the video, I talked about wires and cables, but what about all the cameras and microphones which cannot be connected to the truck using physical wires? It would be extremely inconvenient to have wires attached to moving cameras like the Steadicams, as well as the microphones and headsets of people moving around the pitch. That is why there is also a specific team of 3 people in a separate truck in charge of the wireless systems.
We established transmission and reception systems for audio, video, radio signals, as well as for walkie-talkies across short or long distances. In fact, the Steadicam has that. So what you need to know is that this is an antenna with an offset. So the effective antenna is right there. And in fact, all of this allows for a displacement to go above the cameraman's head.
All of this technical environment can still be utilized to serve a brand new antenna.
There are so many more aspects of the truck I would like to cover in further detail, but I'll keep that for a future video where I'll take you through a complete tour of AMP's next generation state-of-the-art OB truck, built for the most demanding international sporting events. If you are interested, feel free to subscribe. Before I leave you with the final climax of that production, I would like to express my gratitude to Olivier and Claire, who tirelessly filmed the epic show and made this documentary possible. I also extend my thanks to AMP Visual TV, the company who generously gave us unrestricted access to film inside their facilities and in the production truck. Additionally, I would like to thank Carnage, the live producer, and Amin, the host YouTuber of the show, for allowing us to film anywhere and everything we desired, even if that meant going in the middle of the football pitch during the show. That's really an unparalleled opportunity. They also allowed us to use all of the footage of the broadcast for the purpose of this documentary, which is huge and would have been very, very hard in a normal broadcast. Now, the question is, will the camera operators be able to capture immersive footage without interfering with the players? How many viewers will tune in to the live stream to watch the game? Can the crew dismantle the concert stage in less than 10 minutes? Have all the technical issues been fully resolved? They all know where they stand, and everyone involved has put forward their best work. But now it's time for the real fun to begin. Game on!
C'est incroyable ce qui se passe, désolé, je suis un peu intimidé, c'est fou ce qui est en train de se passer. It's amazing what's happening, sorry, I'm intimidated, it's insane. Que des mecs que je kiffe, que des gars que je kiffe dans le stade, vous êtes comme une famille pour moi, vous êtes des mecs qui avaient cru en moi, en nous tous ici. Je vous remercie fois 1000.
I'm hopeful that it will work as intended. And it'll work. It'll work.
This Twitch livestream attracted a peak audience of over 1 million viewers, making it the 4th most watched Twitch livestream of all time.
There are as many stakes on an internet broadcast as on a TV broadcast. There's no reason. It's just a destination like any other, so treat it as if on TV, that's it.
They work day and night for success of their project.
It's a huge crowd, and it's actually the biggest crowd. We need to make them feel the vibrations we have on site. We must make them want to say, there you go, it was exceptional.
Ce qu'on veut vous proposer, what we want to offer you is to enjoy one of life's top moments ever.
Here in the city in Paris, these are controlled airspaces in all directions. We must maintain distances from the public.
One must be led to think differently than just what is in the manual. You also need to be a bit handy.
It's a bit of an adventure every time. We try, we clear. Every time we don't know where we're going. Not about filming non-stop, must be in the right place at the right time.
We were able to forget a little bit about the formal side. The producer requested the director to film this football match similar to FIFA, similar to the game. What happened was we didn't have all the constraints of not exceeding lines, using Steadicams, doing 360s at breaks in play.
Tonight, we'll have fun. We'll find new images showing the joy, happiness and pleasure of players sharing the match.
Le plan large, il a pas la bulle, là, on est d'accord. Hein. Ça m'inquiète parce que si c'est calé.
Tu peux regarder s'il y a la bulle sur le large.
Bah, je suis sûr. Je suis sûr de moi là.
Ouais, sûr. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it doesn't work. So it absolutely has to work.
They are all motivated, they have the drive, and above all, they believe in the project.
I'm perfectly certain that everyone here is doing their best. We're in the kitchen, we're gonna cook, and the dish we have to serve, it has to be perfect. It's like an athlete, when he enters the field, there's this surge just before the live, where we must not mess up. That's it, we must not mess up.
It's true that the human aspect and the expertise, experience of our technicians are crucial.
The positive energy that has exploded out of this event has made it unique in its kind. Seeing all of these people coming from two different worlds, traditional broadcasting on one side and streaming and gaming on the other, working hand in hand to bring the best possible entertainment experience for the audience, was incredible to live. I seriously think this has been a historic moment in the live production era.
It is an exciting experience. Is there a word that can truly define it? It is simply fascinating and captivating.
Unclear in one word if you want to express it.
Together, I think that's it.
Joie, bonheur, amusement.
Mais se réinventer sans cesse.
Clairement passion.
Plaisir.
Gigantesque.
Cohésion d'équipe.
Exceptionnel.
Passionnant.
Et surprenant.
Travail d'équipe. Nouveauté. Passionnant.
Plaisir.
Sérieux.
Stress.
Disruptif.
Passion.
Varié.
Renouveau.
Hors du commun.
A word, it's hard because I have 15,000 words coming to mind, and if I drop something grandiose, it makes me feel superior.
Let's go. Magnifique. Il est par le but, il a 3, 2, 1, top musique. Allez, fais péter le truc.
Vas-y, donc explore tout là.
Allez, fais-moi tourner ça.
R2, bisous, joie, Amine.
Je le vois plus, il se lève. Là, on zoom avant. Allez, top, le zoom avant.
Derrière R4, réaction.
Allez, voilà, vas-y. La 7 qui arrive, la 7, je reviens.
Incroyable. Ok, pas de soucis.
C'est tellement beau, regarde-moi ça, regarde, ils sont heureux là. passe une belle soirée. Allez, rentre sur le terrain, suis-le. Suis-le.
Numéro 23.
Suis là,
Sacha.
vas-y, voilà, c'est ça qu'on veut. Ralentis. Allez, vas-y mon Karim, excuse-moi. Vas-y, et tu t'arrêtes après le gardien. Voilà, ça c'est du gaming. Là on la voit à la distance. Et hop, là tu tournes et tu t'enlèves. Et voilà, il est où papa? Voilà, bah faut partir Karim. Je sais pas comment on va faire. Attends, la 6.